Hey guys, welcome back to Judo Highlights. So this video has been a long time in the waiting, and here we are a year later. Sorry about the delay. So in this video I'll cover myself, my judo, my history in Japan. I'll talk a little bit about training in Japan in general, and I'll also cover how this channel started. Might be a little trip down memory lane for anyone who is in that plus 30 category bracket. I am 36 years of age. And most of these clips you're seeing here, this is post-COVID, when we just had a little bit of a technical upgrade in Japan and started training with cameras and just filming everything. So first of all, I'll take this opportunity to introduce my home dojo. I've been living in the same area for about 10 years here in Osaka, and this dojo is great. We only meet on Saturdays. Obviously I train at other places, but this place has been really, really special. I've definitely made some good friends at this dojo. It's quite often you'll find us out at sushi or ramen after training, and these guys have handed me quite a few beatings over the years, and I will say I've learned quite a lot from them. I've never really had a sensei. I think everyone has a sensei, but I don't actually have someone who really comes to mind as my main sensei throughout all my judo career, which is a little bit interesting because I've had to learn almost everything mostly by myself. But yeah, this dojo is really great. And people know it too. They come from all over to train here. A lot of people have family in the area, so they just visit. We've also had quite a few international visitors, Korea and France for example. But just to give you an idea, this is a random dojo in the middle of Osaka. That there was Nizoi's brother. This person here, Kokushikan University. This guy here, he won the All Japan Universities for under 100s this year. Hirami Riku, you'll see him on the IGF tour. This guy here, Koshi, he was a part of the team for Tendi when they took first place for the university competition that year. Check this one out in slow-mo. And here he is biffing me with his Uchimata. Beautiful Uchimata. At the back, there's Yoshino. She took second at the World Juniors. And these people, they've come to this dojo for many, many years. I've known them since they were pretty much children. Omori, she came from this dojo as well. Here's the big man himself, Saito, although haven't seen him in a few years now, Takuto. And then this kid here, I think he's gonna be a future star, Fujinaka, and he won the All Japan for junior high school. But yeah, it's just weird. On Saturdays, all these people, all these strong people, just end up kind of aggregating towards this dojo. It's been great. But anyway, before this, I didn't really have a lot of footage of myself and training in Japan. Actually, I've got a couple of senseis who I've never actually seen do judo, just because there's nothing out there. It was very rare for someone to film something. Although some people were filming for competition, I do have a few competition highlights. But anyway, everything you just saw, that's kind of post-COVID, very recent stuff. Actually, a couple of clips from just the other week. But anyway, it's time to go back in time a little bit, see where I've come from and my earlier days. Skip to the end of the video if you want to see some more highlights from me, and I'll talk about my judo in a little bit more detail. But these clips here, these are from a much longer time ago, 8, 10 plus years ago. Now, I started judo in New Zealand. I did it for 1 year, and then I came to Japan on a working holiday. I went back to New Zealand to finish my degree, and then I came back to Japan and haven't left. So I did start judo relatively late, 19 years of age. This is my old sensei here, Alex. He was in New Zealand, but Romanian judoka. He was on the national team, apparently. Really intense guy, strong like an ox. Now, before judo, had a little bit of aikido experience before that for 3 years, and karate as well. But judo was really the thing for me. And of course, I mean, about that time, YouTube had just begun. Logged in, typed in judo, and I knew and watched every video. Maybe you guys remember some of these channels. Judo Vision, Grappler Kingdom. I think there was another channel called Judo Vines, which was really popular. But back then, things were limited. There were not a lot of websites either. So I started making my own videos. That's how the channel started. It was good timing, that's for sure. But anyway, we're jumping ahead a little bit here. That's about 2014, 2015 that the channel started, and I did start judo about 4 or 5 years before that. Now, as you can see here by the image on the screen, when I did go back to New Zealand, I broke my leg. I was training with a white belt, and he was trying to learn kochi makikomi, and he fell on the side of my leg, snapped my leg in two. This little bit of newaza here is slightly before that, and if you can just see the back there, you'll see in a second there's a couple of guys, and they were always there on the mats with us at the same time practicing Muay Thai or kickboxing or something. Really kind of loud stuff, and when I snapped my leg, everyone stopped. They knew that sound. It was really bad. So I had 2 surgeries, one to put in the metal and one to get it out. I was on crutches for about 6 months. And I never really contemplated quitting judo, even though I was only just a year into it, but I did make the promise that I would always put work first. I did have kind of this outrageous idea at 19 years of age that I would start judo, go to Japan, level up so much that I could compete in the Olympics. But reality hit pretty hard when I broke my leg, and I mean, I still trained judo, I still chased the dream, but I would always put my career first. So, you know, that's why I always focus on the judoka on this channel, the guys who are actually out there making the sacrifices, going through all those injuries and really chasing the dream. Now, after all the rehabilitation and recovery, I did make it back to Japan. Now, I did come to do judo, but got to work as well, and so I did get a job. I came on the JET program initially, and if you don't know, it's a English teaching program. They send people to various public schools around Japan, and you have no choice as to where you go. So the first place I ended up was here in Niigata Prefecture. It was a tiny town, just 2,000 people. It was about a 30-minute drive from the nearest city, which was Joetsu. Now, luckily for me, there was a dojo, just kind of a place where anyone can go and participate. There was one guy, he was actually really quite good, Ushiki Sensei. I know he still has a dojo up in Niigata in the snow, and here's a little highlight of him. But I only stayed in Niigata for a year. I was only training with 3-4 guys, and I knew it really wasn't going to happen. I needed something a little bit more. So I did a little stint in the Kodokan. I ended up getting work down in Osaka, and I've been in Osaka ever since. But when I came to Osaka, I went to a bunch of different dojos. It was a lot of the same, similar to kind of Niigata, similar to the Kodokan in some ways, but a lot of kind of older people or very young people, not a lot of people the same age as me, really trying to improve, just a lot of people who are kind of doing it recreationally. Now, I did get a chance to go to Tendi for a couple of months, but I could only go once a week. It was 2 hours away, and I knew it just wasn't working, so I moved again, I got another job, and I ended up just coincidentally living next to a prison. Now, I think everyone's familiar with Japan and the police, how the police train judo, and they have a very strong judo team or presence in the police here in Japan, but it's the same for the prisons. So I rang up one day, I said, hey, I'm in the area, can I train with you guys? They said, sure, come on down. And I got smashed. These guys, it was a collection of guys from Tendi, Scuba. This guy here, I won't say his name, but he was the captain, and he really took me under his wing. He actually had a win over Keiji Suzuki back in the day, apparently. That's what I heard. So this was really good for me. These guys were mostly just out of university, kind of competing up until their 30s, and then they would kind of step away a little bit. And we actually formed a team. I think they kind of used me a little bit, but they couldn't join these kind of city tournaments unless they actually had someone from the city in their team. So I would join the prison team, and if you guys have heard of the Kiwi Cup or the Goodwill tournament that they used to have, that's this tournament here on the screen. You can see the prison team in the back there watching me lose this match. But we did end up getting third in this competition, which was quite a nice highlight. I did really enjoy the team competitions, much more than the individual team competitions. Now, COVID hit, and the prison closed off to the public, and that stayed like that for about 2 years. But as I said, I've been working at a university here in Osaka. I'll keep that name private as well, but I've been training with them, their judo team, for a good 4 or 5 years now. And it probably would have been better earlier on in my career to be at a university training with really young guys, especially when I was one of those really young guys, but it's been good. So I did spend about 5 years at the prison. That was really good. I will say the one guy there, the captain, was probably my main teacher throughout this long journey, although I've bounced around so many places that I never really had kind of a sensei, especially in the beginning. I mean, I had Alex for about a year, but after that I was just on my own. Just, okay, go in, do uchikomi, do randori, and that's how I learned. No one really taught me anything. I had myself, YouTube, and of course the IJF and all the tournament footage just to kind of learn from. And sometimes I'd ask people after training, hey, how do you do this? But I see it a lot now. I see it a lot in especially people at high school. There's that one teacher yelling at them, really kind of structuring and just forming people as really good judokas. So my game has a lot of holes in it, that's for sure. The newaza was a big one, but I did end up going to a BJJ place for about 4 or 5 years. Only got a blue belt, but you know, the skills I had from judo was enough to kind of compete with the brown belts. But anyway, we're here, deep into the video. I haven't talked about my judo, to be honest, that much, although I've definitely showed you guys a lot of clips. I do like a lot of ashiwaza, kosoto. I have a good kosoto. Also ashibarai, I've worked on that quite a lot actually. Just in the last maybe 3 years, really refined my ashibarai. I'm not sure what it is, but I am left-handed, and so I have kind of gravitated towards some left-sided attacks quite a lot. Hosoto gari is probably my best technique. I've worked a lot on uchimata, but never really just kind of been happy with it. Ouchigari as well, I have a love-hate relationship with ouchigari. I can throw beginners with uchimata pretty easily, but it's when they really know how to defend it that it's a bit difficult. And then I've always kind of struggled with, do I go right between the legs, or do I kind of use more leg and stay on the outside a little bit? And also when people see me, they just expect uchimata as well, so there is that factor too. Some strange techniques that I have developed over the years, tomoe nage. It's kind of a little bit strange to see a tall, lanky guy doing tomoe nage, but I've made it work. Kataguruma, there was a kataguruma somewhere in this video, I've lost it now. And then I do have a left-sided seoi nage that I've never actually done kind of uchikomi or nagekomi for it, but I just kind of figured it out over the years. But yeah, I'm the kind of guy, I'll try anything. But yeah guys, that's me, that's my judo, that's my history. Let me know if you want to ask anything else in the comments. I'll see you in the next video, maybe a normal video for the next one. Anyway, peace out.
Oh, I hate this. Hold. Impossible to get out of.
Stop talking.
That's it.